have a very normal sisterly relationship. We're very close, and we support each other and get each other's opinions.
As the younger sister to the Princess of Wales, Pippa Middleton was thrust into the spotlight after that unforgettable walk at Kate and William's wedding. While the world speculated about her love life and lifestyle, Pippa stayed silent until now. At 41, she's finally addressing the rumors that have followed her and her husband for years. From whispers of tension to questions about their different worlds, the truth is more complicated than expected. What has she been hiding? And is James Matthews really the man people think he is? Join us as we uncover the story behind the headlines. Behind the smile. When Pippa Middleton sat down in an interview with Daily Mail in September 2016, she revealed the truth of what being in the spotlight is like and how it has impacted her marriage to her husband, James Matthews. There may be a fairy tale romance in the view of the world, but there was a richer and more layered view arising behind her words, which implies that fame has aged long lines in her patience as well as her marriage. She conceded that she has not found it easy to be monitored and evaluated all the time by the media, especially because most of the heat has been on her shoulders. Pippa explained that unforeseen problems appear every now and then, and how she has had to figure out how to endure such problems on her own accord. According to her, the whole experience was quite a wake-up call for James, who hadn't previously been exposed to the same level of public interest. She hinted that there were several difficulties along the way that they both had to navigate, though she didn't go into detail. However, in her tone, these struggles were hardly minor. At the same time, in promoting her cookbook Heartfelt, Pippa published a more personal aspect of their relationship. She mentioned that they had the most memorable dinner together, which consisted of a halibut dish with roasted tomatoes, herbs, dressing, and lentils. It was clearly a special dish for her, although she teased that James might have picked a different one if asked. There was warmth in her recollection, but one could also sense a quiet pride in her effort to hold certain moments dear, maybe because they've had to work harder than most to carve out those moments in peace. Pippa also touched on their shared love for the outdoors, something she believes is part of what keeps them connected. She said both she and James are naturally competitive and that they've had their fair share of adventures together, implying that they prefer being active rather than lounging indoors. She added with a little dry humor that it was most likely not going to work because they didn't want to be couch potatoes, because they wear out most people who are close to them because of their energy. It was a joking remark, but it also implied that not every person is made to keep up with their speed. Interestingly, when their engagement became public, Pippa revealed that the attention surrounding their relationship only intensified things. She said she had grown a thicker skin over the years since she was thrust into the spotlight at her sister Kate's royal wedding. Nevertheless, she admitted that it had been a hard time to cope with public life by herself. It was indicative of the feeling that though successful financially and cultivated in his image, James was perhaps not quite ready to face the implications of being in a long-term marriage with someone under such constant glare. It is not difficult to assume that this disproportion may result in certain strain. And to top it all off, controversy has shadowed them even off headlines. In 2024, the pair were criticized following their decision to restrict a publicly owned footpath at their privately owned estate in England. It was a route that had been used in an unofficial capacity by locals since the turn of the century, when it was the property of Sir Terence Conran. Suddenly, this was to become out of bounds. Lots of people in the village did not take this change well. One resident said he was angry, adding that it had never formally been a public path, but all the same, the previous owner had never objected to people using it. It felt like some kind of removal of something precious by Pippa and James on behalf of the community, which appeared to reverberate in a tone of commitment and appropriation. These events leave muffled doubts in the mind of some observers about James Matthews. Although his track record as a hedge fund manager and ex-race car driver is commendable, there is a high probability that he is not really up to the job of managing life with someone like Pippa Middleton. She has matured in her place in the public stage with poise and persistence, and he does not seem to have come to terms as yet with the glamour of the position and the burden of being in the eye of the publicity. But did the union have a troubled start from the onset? Pippa Middleton's journey to love. Pippa Middleton became a household name almost overnight when she walked down the aisle as maid of honor at her older sister Kate Middleton's royal wedding to Prince William in April 2011. Her figure-hugging white dress and graceful poise captured global attention, and from that moment on, Pippa's own life began to be closely followed by the press and public alike. But while the world admired her from afar, Pippa's path to finding lasting love was anything but straightforward. It wasn't until 6 years later that Pippa had her own moment in white, marrying James Matthews, an Eton-educated hedge fund manager with a polished exterior and a quiet past. By the time of their 2017 wedding, many had already become familiar with Matthews' name, not just because of his family's wealth or elite education, but because his romantic ties to Pippa went back several years. The first time Pippa and James were romantically linked was in late 2012. At the time, paparazzi caught them leaving the chic London restaurant Hakkasan after a dinner date. Pippa was dressed in a sleek black ensemble, paired with a black and white floral jacket, matching clutch, and classic black heels. Though they looked close that evening, the relationship didn't seem to move forward immediately. Shortly after, Pippa began dating Nico Jackson, an investment banker who lived in Geneva. Despite moving on romantically, Pippa and James remained close friends. In fact, their friendship proved to be more than just casual. In June 2014, Pippa, her brother James Middleton, and a team of cyclists joined forces for the Race Across America, a grueling 3,000-mile charity bike ride that stretched across 12 U.S. states. It was a bold and demanding endeavor, raising money and awareness for various causes. For many, it was just another show of Pippa's athletic spirit, but looking back, it might have been a subtle sign of the deepening bond between her and James. That summer, James was also part of a Middleton family vacation to St. Bart's, where he joined Pippa, her brother James, and their parents, Carol and Michael. Onlookers noted that Pippa seemed at ease as she was playfully tossed into the ocean by the two men. Despite the closeness, insiders insisted that the relationship between her and James was still just platonic at the time, since she was still in a relationship with Nico Jackson. Their paths crossed again during the Otillo Swim Run Championship in Sweden on September 7, 2015. It was a physically intense event involving swimming, running, and navigating rough terrain in less than ideal weather. James Matthews joined Pippa and her brother once again, this time raising funds for the Michael Matthews Foundation, a charitable organization named after James's late brother, who tragically lost his life while climbing Mount Everest. It was an emotional event for James, and having Pippa there may have meant more to him than he let on. Not too long after her long-distance relationship quietly ended, Pippa Middleton and James Matthews revived their romance. The former relationship, which was already burdened by the lack of emotional connection, had gradually broken down due to the incongruence of schedules and the difficulty of loving someone long distance. Friends close to Pippa noted that although there was genuine affection, the emotional gap created by the distance made it difficult to sustain. In the background, James Matthews was quietly waiting in the wing. Many believe that timing and fate played a major role in bringing them back together. Although it is not clear why they broke up in the first place, their reconnection appeared to be quite natural, like there was something left to do. The bottom line is that they were not reuniting, because they were rekindling an old flame. They were reuniting because they were with the right person at the right time. Their love story, though not without twists, feels like a modern fairy tale, with just enough real-life messiness to keep things interesting. But behind the joy, were there cracks already forming? The journey to forever. A few years ago, cameras caught Pippa Middleton and James Matthews enjoying a quiet evening out in London. And not long after, the whispers began. According to People magazine, the sighting wasn't just a casual date. It marked the official rekindling of their relationship. From that moment on, things between the two seemed to move quickly, but naturally, as if they'd always known they'd find their way back to one another. Then, on July 17, 2016, the couple made headlines with a joyful announcement. They were engaged. They had supposedly been on a romantic vacation in the picturesque Lake District in northeast England, where the air is crisp and the sceneries are breathtaking. Their engagement, despite being a personal affair, caused a buzz not only within their social circle, but across media outlets as well, with audiences tracking her dating history since Pippa came into the limelight following the royal wedding between her sister and Prince William. People close to the couple shared that the engagement came as a pleasant surprise. Pippa, they said, was overjoyed, and so were those around her. Friends described the pair as deeply in sync and genuinely happy. One source noted that their personalities balanced each other, making them feel well-suited in ways that only time and experience could reveal. The Middleton family, known for being tightly knit, was said to warmly welcome James into the fold. Kensington Palace even released a statement on behalf of Prince William and Kate, expressing their delight about the engagement news. Pippa's father, Michael Middleton, also made a rare public comment, saying that the couple made a wonderful match and wished them nothing but happiness in the years ahead. There was even speculation that something big was brewing in the air by certain people before the official announcement. Pippa has been caught on camera in various events discreetly covering her left hand, an uncharacteristic gesture by such a polished and composed celebrity. When the time came, though, she flung herself into it. When the confirmation of their engagement was made, she came out of her house, beaming with a smile and sporting her new, beautiful diamond ring. Jewelry expert David Christopher Allen of 77 Diamonds provided in-depth details of the ring, updating that it is an Asher-cut diamond, a shape based on its classic beauty and retro appeal. He mentioned that to achieve the clarity and brilliance seen in that kind of cut, the diamond would have to be of the highest quality. If flawless, he estimated the ring's value at around £200,000, roughly $263,000 at the time. Yet even in the glamour of the ring and the excitement of engagement, it was revealed in the next weeks of Pippa that there was another more personal side of her tale. Shortly after the proposal date, she embarked on a significant journey, climbing the Matterhorn in Switzerland with her brother James. This was not a normal climb to get a thrill or do a challenge, but as a tribute to the younger brother of James Matthews, who died in 1999 during a failed attempt to climb the Mount Everest. This ascent was done in aid of the Michael Matthews Foundation, a charitable foundation established to remember Michael and keep his legacy alive. Pippa, a mountaineer, shared her emotional experience of climbing Mount Everest with her brother Michael and their family. They felt close to Michael's spirit of adventure and love for mountains, making the climb intimate and spiritual. James Matthews, who would have supported the climb, chose not to due to painful memories associated with it. Pippa understood her fiancé's grief and expressed her understanding of his fiancé's mourning. Could their picture-perfect love survive the weight of expectations and titles? Pippa Middleton's fairy tale countryside wedding. Not long after announcing her engagement to James Matthews, Pippa Middleton began planning the kind of wedding she had always dreamed of. Elegant, heartfelt, but far away from the grand public spectacle that had surrounded her sister Kate's royal nuptials. According to one of her close friends who spoke with People at the time, Pippa wasted no time getting into wedding mode. The source shared that she was thrilled and had already locked in May 2017 as the big date. They added that Pippa was deeply involved in every detail and that she and James had a strong connection, calling him both old-fashioned and charming, and noting that everyone around them believed she'd found herself quite a catch. Friends of the world's most famous bridesmaid made it clear that Pippa had no interest in replicating the pomp of Westminster Abbey. While she had handled the royal attention at her sister's wedding with grace, those close to her revealed that she longed for something quieter and more personal. One insider said the couple shared a deep desire to avoid the constant media spotlight. Instead, their focus was on building a peaceful, grounded life, one that included starting a family and enjoying their privacy away from the public eye. On the chosen day, Pippa and James tied the knot in a beautiful ceremony at St. Mark's Church in Inglefield.
Pippa Middleton marrying hedge fund manager James Matthews on Saturday at St. Mark's Church in Inglefield, England, filled with pink and white flowers.
A quiet village in the English countryside that perfectly matched their vision. The event struck a balance between classic and intimate, managing to feel both luxurious and personal. For the occasion, Pippa wore a bespoke gown designed by Giles Deacon. The dress featured delicate cap sleeves and was paired with a veil by milliner Stephen Jones. She completed the look with a maidenhair fern tiara and coordinating hairpiece by Robinson Pelham, the same jeweler who made her earrings for Kate's royal wedding, which she wore again for sentimental value. As Pippa made her way down the aisle, her older sister Kate was seen gently helping her with her dress, a tender moment as their father Michael proudly walked Pippa toward her future. It may have been a private wedding, but it was not short of high-profile guests. Prince William and Prince Harry were present, as were Pippa's adorable niece and nephew, Princess Charlotte and Prince George, who served as part of the wedding party. On James's side, his younger brother Spencer Matthews, well known from British reality TV, was also in attendance. Other guests included Countess Philippa Hoyos, Lily French, Avia Horner, Casimir Tatos, Edward Sabire, and William Ward, adding just the right touch of high society to the countryside celebration. Pippa and James Matthews, newlyweds, wanted a cozy, meaningful celebration in a home-like setting. Their wedding was understated, elegant, and deeply rooted in family. They celebrated in French Polynesia, a dreamy island escape. Pippa's marriage to James Matthews brings a new chapter of life and the potential for a new title, as James inherits his father David's title of Laird of Glen Affric. They said, "I do" to forever, but did they know what that forever would really look like? From 1 to 3. By June 2018, the rumors swirling around Pippa Middleton's growing belly were finally confirmed, but in true Pippa fashion, she chose a quiet and personal way to share her news. Rather than granting a flashy interview or posting on social media, she revealed in her regular column for Waitrose Kitchen magazine that she and her husband James Matthews were expecting their first child. It had been 6 weeks since whispers of the pregnancy had begun, and Pippa's fans were eager for confirmation. She wrote about the early stages of her pregnancy, noting that unlike her older sister Kate, who had suffered from hyperemesis gravidarum, a severe form of morning sickness, she had been fortunate to have a much easier experience. She explained that she was able to go through her first trimester without major discomfort and even passed her 12-week scan without any issues, which allowed her to continue her daily life with minimal interruption. A few months later, on October 15, 2018, Pippa and James became first-time parents. Their baby boy was born weighing 8 pounds and 9 ounces. A spokesperson confirmed that both mother and baby were doing well and shared that everyone involved was thrilled by the safe and healthy delivery. Kensington Palace also released a statement, saying Prince William and Kate were thrilled for the couple. Not long after, the couple revealed the name of their son, Arthur Michael William. The middle name, Michael, was especially meaningful. Many believed it was a heartfelt tribute to both Pippa's father, Michael Middleton, and James' late brother, Michael Matthews, who tragically passed away during a mountaineering expedition years earlier. 2 years later, in December 2020, reports surfaced again. Pippa was pregnant with their second child. A source close to the family told Page 6 at the time that the couple was over the moon and called it a bright spot during what had otherwise been a very difficult year globally. The entire Middleton Matthews family was reportedly delighted by the news. On March 15, 2021, Pippa gave birth to their second child, a daughter named Grace Elizabeth Jane. She arrived weighing 6 pounds and 7 ounces. A source described the baby as perfect and shared that the family was overjoyed by her arrival. A spokesperson for Kate and William later told People that the royal couple was also overjoyed to welcome a new niece. Then, in a quiet reveal that caught many by surprise, People confirmed in July 2022 that Pippa and James had welcomed their third child, a baby girl, just the month before, in June. There had been no major announcements, no red carpet reveals, just the couple continuing to live their lives under the radar while embracing family life. Later that same month, the couple shared their daughter's name, Rose. It was a fitting choice, not only delicate and beautiful, but also symbolic, as the rose is the birth flower for June, the month she was born. Could growing a family also mean growing apart from the one you started with? Growing apart. Once famously close, Kate Middleton and her younger sister Pippa Matthews seemed to be drifting apart. Not due to any bad blood, but because life has simply taken them in two very different directions. Their bond was solidified in their teen years, during their time together at boarding school. It was there that Kate and Pippa leaned on each other through the awkward highs and lows of growing up, supporting one another through school drama, exams, and making friends. For years, they were inseparable, sisters, best friends, and confidants. But everything changed when Kate joined the royal family, which in turn pushed Pippa to the limelight. She soon chose to step away from the public eyes. While Kate's life was consumed with royal engagements, cameras, and endless scrutiny, Pippa retreated into a much quieter world, one filled with countryside mornings, school runs, and time with her husband, James Matthews, and their 3 children, Arthur, Grace, and Rose. Now, the contrast between their lives is sharper than ever. Kate, who's juggling an intense royal schedule and recovering from personal health challenges, has reportedly found it harder to stay connected to her sister. According to a source who spoke with New Idea, Kate is very aware that the dynamic between her and Pippa isn't what it used to be. The source explained that ever since Queen Elizabeth's passing, the pressure on Kate as the Princess of Wales has only grown. With William moving closer to the throne, there's less space in her life for the slow, family-focused lifestyle she once shared with Pippa. Kate Middleton and Pippa have experienced a growing distance due to their roles. Kate missed her niece's birthday due to a royal engagement, while Pippa has settled into a quiet, family-first life. This shift has led to a loss of time and freedom for Kate, who misses the relaxed Middleton family life and the easy relationship she once had with Pippa. Do you think the relationship with Kate can be repaired? Do you think Pippa and her husband have been misunderstood all these years? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.